Ever just stop and wonder, why do I do the things I do? Or, feel the way I feel? Our brains are these amazingly complex machines, and they're running on a kind of hidden code that pretty much dictates everything about us. So in this explainer, we're going to try and decode some of that programming. We'll look at some seriously amazing psychological facts that pull back the curtain on how our minds really work. All right, let's jump right in. So, first things first, let me ask you this. Have you ever been so hurt by what someone said or did that it felt, well, physical? We use phrases like a broken heart or say something was a gut punch. But are we just being dramatic? Is it all just a metaphor? Or is there something real actually happening inside us? To answer that, we've got to take a peek inside our brain's command center. And you might be surprised to find out that when it comes to our feelings, the brain's reactions can be way more literal than you'd think. And the answer is yes, absolutely. Emotional pain is real. Get this. Studies show that when you're ignored by someone you really care about, your brain processes that feeling of rejection in the exact same regions it uses for physical pain. So that sting you feel, to your brain, it might as well be a broken bone. It's wild. And even though our emotional lives feel so personal and complex, it turns out we're all speaking the same basic emotional language. Researchers have actually pinpointed 6 core emotions. That's happiness, sadness, fear, anger, surprise, and disgust that are expressed and understood by everyone, everywhere, in every culture on Earth. Speaking of feelings, here's a fun one. You know that little rush you get when you eat a piece of really good chocolate? That is not just in your head. Eating chocolate makes your brain release a chemical called phenylethylamine, which is the very same chemical that floods your system when you're first falling in love. And now for the other end of the spectrum, from love to just pure panic. Have you ever lost your phone and felt that sudden, ice-cold wave of dread? Well, behavioral studies suggest that panic is so intense, it can be similar to what people feel in a near-death experience. It just goes to show you how much these little devices are tangled up in our sense of who we are. Now, what about how we talk to each other? Well, if you've got a quick, sarcastic wit, here's some good news for you. Turns out, the ability to get and use sarcasm isn't just for jokes. It's actually a sign of a really healthy, creative mind. It means your brain is firing on all cylinders, juggling different layers of meaning all at once. And that kind of thing is so key to our social lives. So let's zoom out from what's going on inside our heads to how we connect with others. How does all this psychology play out in our friendships and relationships? Well, it turns out there's a kind of hidden social code that we all follow. Okay, take a look at this number, 20. Just 20. What in the world could that possibly have to do with connecting with other people? It is the magic number for a hug. A hug that lasts for 20 seconds or longer isn't just comforting. It actually triggers the release of oxytocin, which people call the trust hormone. It's literally building a chemical bond of trust between you and that other person. Pretty cool, right? And here's a little social secret you can look for next time you're out with your friends. When a whole group starts laughing, people will instinctively, without thinking, glance over at the person in the group they feel the most connected to. It's like a tiny subconscious check-in, sharing the moment with their person. Speaking of those strong connections, there seems to be a golden age for making them. Research points to the fact that the friendships you form between the ages of 16 and 28 are the ones most likely to be really strong and last a lifetime. It's like a critical window for building your crew. But, our social wiring isn't all good. It has a bit of a dark side. See, once we make up our mind about someone, our brain will fight tooth and nail to protect that opinion. We are literally more likely to ignore facts or even twist the truth than to admit we were wrong about a person. It's a powerful and honestly, a sometimes dangerous glitch in our programming. And that whole idea of changing the truth in our own minds, it leads us perfectly into our next section. Because our brains don't just see the world. They actively filter it, interpret it. So let's dive into the strange ways our perception, our memories, and even music can shape our reality. You ever reach for your phone absolutely positive you felt it vibrate in your pocket, only to find out nothing? That's a real thing. It's called phantom vibration syndrome. It's this weird little glitch in our perception. And, as you can see, it's not just you. A whopping 68% of us experience it. And, music does so much more than just act as a soundtrack for our lives. It can actually change how you see things. If you listen to happy, upbeat music, you're more likely to notice positive things around you. But listening to sad music can literally make the world seem a little bit grayer. It's like putting a filter on reality. And that's exactly why some songs hit us so hard. Think about your all-time favorite song. Chances are it's not your favorite just because of the melody. It's almost always because your brain has attached that song to a huge emotional event in your life, turning it into this powerful anchor for a specific memory and feeling. But here's the kicker. How reliable are those memories really? Well, it turns out not very. Our memories are not like video recordings. Every single time we remember something, we actually rewrite it just a little bit. Over time, they can get seriously warped, and it's believed that the average person has at least one completely false memory that they'd swear on their life is true. Okay, so our minds are complicated, they're creative, and sometimes they're just plain wrong. But here's the good news. We can use this knowledge to our advantage. Let's look at a few simple little habits that can have a surprisingly huge impact on our well-being. Think of it like a recipe for a better day. Step 1. Waking up just 1 hour earlier can slash your risk of major depression. Step 2. For men, kissing your partner goodbye in the morning is linked to living up to 5 years longer. Isn't that wild? And step 3. A quick little dance before you head out the door can actually set you up with an optimistic mindset for the rest of the day. And the list just keeps going. Simple things, like just staying busy, can starve negative thoughts. Helping other people gives you a massive happiness boost. Even how you sleep matters. Sleeping on your left side can help with digestion. And hey, here's a pro tip for all the students. If you study right before you go to sleep, your brain is way more likely to lock that information into your long-term memory. So we've talked about emotions, relationships, how we see the world, and even little life hacks. But I want to leave you with one final thought. And to be honest, it's a pretty sobering one. It's about anxiety. Just look at this comparison. Studies have found that the baseline everyday level of anxiety in an average high school kid today is the same as the average psychiatric patient back in the early 1950s. Just let that sink in for a minute. What we now consider a normal amount of stress for a teenager would have been seen as a clinical problem back then. Which brings us to our final big question. We've seen that our minds can mistake loneliness for real pain, that our memories can lie to us, and our whole reality can be changed by a song. So, if our own minds can be so easily tricked and influenced, what can we really trust? Something to think about.